Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Weekly. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in for the season finale of Chicago Bears Weekly. In today's episode, as the 53-man rosters were released Tuesday, I'm going to give my thoughts over the entire roster, and you're going to have some practice squad players who haven't necessarily been named at the recording of this video, but the season is right around the corner. Thank God for that, as the 53-man rosters have been revealed, and we're 2 weeks away from Monday Night Football. Boy, I can't wait. But we got some things to discuss today with the 53-man roster being revealed. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's first start off with talking about the quarterback position, as the quarterbacks have been named Caleb Williams, Tyson Bagent, and Case Keenum. There's really no surprise there, as Tyson Bagent was just signed into the extension a couple of days ago. Caleb Williams, we have higher expectations of him heading into year two under Ben Johnson, and I think keeping Case Keenum is a very important thing. I think more important than a lot of people would realize. Here's why. Keeping Case Keenum around is, number one, you have that savvy veteran who has started in this league, has had success in this league, and on top of that, he's been through so many different systems. He's one of the guys that helped tutor C.J. Stroud when C.J. Stroud was in his first 2 years of his career. So having a veteran that, number one, is in your ear, kind of seeing things that he's seen that maybe a young quarterback may not see, having him in the field room to point out certain things that maybe a quarterback can see and maybe a quarterback may not realize, a young quarterback, I think is going to be huge in the development for not only Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent, just in case he's needed, as we shall see, knock on wood. We pray that doesn't happen, but I think having Case Keenum in the room, big. The running back room, I'm actually kind of shocked that the Bears did not have a four-man running back roster, that the Bears didn't keep one of those keep an Ian Wheeler around, keep, like I said, Britton Brown, Deion Hankins. I'm surprised they didn't keep any of those around. Maybe they could be practice squad players, but it's DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson, and Cal Monangai. And Travis Homer is designated for return on IR. So technically they have four, but for the active 53-man roster, they have three. Now, with Roschon Johnson missing the preseason with the foot injury, we'll have to see how that is going to go. If they're going to end up promoting a Brown, promoting a Wheeler to the active roster, Roschon is not ready to go. Cal Monangai showed flashes, and I have expectations that DeAndre Swift will have a very solid season compared to what he had last year. The wide receiver room is a little bit surprising that the Bears kept 6 receivers on the roster. Of course, DJ Moore, Odunze, Luther Burden III, Alamade Zaccheaus, Devin Duvernay, which I think he's more of a special teams keep. And they kept Jade Walker, who showed major flashes throughout this preseason, which helped him make this 53-man roster. I'm actually happy that Jade Walker made this roster. Like I said, he had a very impressive camp. He had a very impressive preseason. And he was one of those names that made it hard for you to part ways with him. So the receiving room is not much of a surprise. Jade Walker obviously is the surprise, but I'm actually happy that he made the roster. He showed that he can really play, and I think he'd probably be more of a special teams guy if things like injuries or things do not occur. But Jade Walker made this roster, so I'm actually happy. But then you have your tight end position, which is no secret. You're going to keep 3 tight ends. Your first round pick in Loveland, Cole Kmet, and Durham Smythe, or Smith. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that, but I'm not shocked that they keep 3 tight ends. And we're talking about Ben Johnson's system where they use a lot of different people. So 3 tight ends. They maybe have a practice squad player at the tight end position. So the tight end position is not surprising. You have high expectations in Loveland and Cole Kmet, who I think last year, we're not going to get too much into it, but I think he's better than what last year showed. And I think this year with Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland, I think Colston Loveland, even though he went to that school up north, and if you're an Ohio State fan, you know what I mean. But he, I think, is a really good football player, and I think he's going to help this Bears offense. So I think they have good tight ends. The offensive line, they kept 10 names. Braxton Jones, Joe Thuney, Drew Dahmer, Jonah Jackson, Darnell Wright, Ozzie Trapillo. Theo Benedict is a surprise that I'm not going to say surprise, but he made this team because of his versatility throughout the offensive line. Then you have Ryan Bates, Luke Newman, who had a very impressive camp, and then you have Kyron Amagaje. Now, okay, the offensive line, we kind of knew they were going to keep around maybe 8 to 9 guys, 10 guys. They're probably only going to dress probably 7, maybe 8 on game days. But Luke Newman had a really impressive preseason. Theo Benedict, sucks that he got hurt last year, but he had a really impressive preseason. I think the biggest thing from this offensive line, who is going to be the starter at left tackle? That is my thing. Who is going to be the starter at left tackle? They've been battling Amagaje, Braxton Jones, and Trapillo. I personally think I will pick Trapillo as the starting left tackle, in my opinion, but we shall see. Today's video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. For me, it is very important to have a VPN to protect my online privacy. It'd be very, very creepy if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing that you did online. So why let your internet provider really do that to you online? The best thing to do is to get yourself a VPN, and why not go with ExpressVPN, the best VPN available. Personally, I like it for the fact that you can unlock Netflix shows that you do not get in the US market. Now, one show that I've started to get myself into is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You search Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the US, doesn't come up, but you can switch your location to Canada, and you can research Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, and bam, it pops up right then and there, and you can catch up on your episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, if you click the link in the description below, you will get 3 free months of ExpressVPN. Just by clicking the link below and you sign up today, you will get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. All you have to do is click the link down below, and you will get ExpressVPN. Now, let's just get back to the video. But then we get to the defensive line, where we have Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett, Javon Dexter, Dio Adangbo, Billings, Austin Booker, Shamar Turner, Dominique Robinson, Chris Williams, and Daniel Hardy. Daniel Hardy's a special teams guy. Chris Williams, he showed some flashes this preseason. Dominique Robinson is a surprise name that I think is on the roster. I just really believe that it's he was a little iffy, but according to this, it's a little easier knowing that Austin Booker is not beginning the year under reserve. But it sucks that he's going to miss some time, because Austin Booker I think he was having a really, really good preseason. It would have been an extra added piece outside of a guy like a Montez Sweat and a Dio Adangbo, but I think the defensive line depth is deeper. And then Zach Pickens is one of those guys that did not make the roster, which it doesn't shock me because he hasn't shown much. You got a guy like a Billings, who I think the Bears missed last year. So none of these names surprise me. So outside of Dominique Robinson, maybe, I'm very interested to see where he's at as far as his development going into the regular season. But I am not going to lie, I thought Dominique Robinson would have been one of those names that would have been right on the edge of making this roster. So I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat that. But then we have our linebackers: Tremaine, Edmunds, TJ Edwards, Noah Sewell, Ruben Hippolyte, and Carl Jones Jr. No surprises here. We know Edwards and Edmunds are going to be the bigger names. Noah Sewell is going to be what Jack Sanborn was at points with this Bears defense. Ruben Hippolyte, I think, is going to develop into a really, really good football player. And it sucks that he slipped to the 4th round, but I think he really has some talent. He shows some flashes. I think he needs to be a slightly bit better in coverage, But I think Ruben Hippolyte has some talent, and Carl Jones Jr. is another depth piece, probably a special teams guy. So linebackers, no shock here. Then you have your corners in Jaylon Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, Nashawn Wright, Josh Blackwell, and Nick McLeod. It sucks that Terrell Smith is going to be on IR and miss the rest of the season. It sucks. And I think that opened up name for a Nick McLeod to actually make the roster, Nashawn Wright to actually make this roster, because the cornerbacks, let's just say they've been kind of down. As far as this preseason goes, it's been some injury questions with Gordon, Johnson. Stevenson has been a little bit nicked up, but Nick McLeod is the one that may not have made it if not for the Terrell Smith injury. But then we have our safeties in Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, Jonathan Owen, and Elijah Hicks. No shock there. There's no shock there. Kevin Byard, he had a really good last year. Jaquan Brisker, I think he is the biggest key outside of Kyler Gordon in this defense, because I think the Bears really missed Jaquan Brisker last year. So I hope he comes in healthy. Jonathan Owens plays some solid football, and Elijah Hicks, who has experience, is probably going to play some special teams, along with Blackwell as well. So there's not much of a surprise there. Of course, for your special teamers, you have Cairo Santos, Tory Taylor, and Scott Daly. We know what Santos would do as far as making field goals. He had a little bit of his issues in preseason, but I think he'll be just fine. Tory Taylor, we know how he can flip the field position, which is huge when we're talking about the game of football. And then Scott Daly is our long snapper. Things that I take away, it sucks Terrell Smith is out for the year, which I think opened up a space for Nick McLeod. Carl Jones Jr. is another one. If Abba Baminga was not on injured reserve, I think Abba Baminga takes that 53-man roster spot. Then we're talking about Dominique Robinson, who I thought was probably going to be an edge cut guy for this roster, but he ends up making the 53-man. Then when we're talking about the running backs, I thought they were going to keep forward with Roschon Johnson's foot injury, the injury that he's been struggling with throughout all of preseason. And then Travis Homer ends up on IR. So, and then on top of that, keeping Case Keenum as the backup veteran quarterback, I think is going to be huge. Not really maybe on the field, but I think for the quarterback room, like I said, in the locker room and the development of Williams and Badgett, I think keeping Case Keenum on the active roster is huge. But I cannot wait. September 8th, Monday night, Bears versus Vikings to open up Chicago Bears football season. And boy, I cannot wait for that. And I know you guys are excited as well. So we have a 53-man roster, which means we're so much closer. But that is all I've had for this season and this episode of Chicago Bears Weekly. Make sure you guys leave this video a like as it continues to help this channel to grow. And if you guys are supportive of me and you want to see bigger things, you want to see this channel to continue to grow and you enjoy the content, make sure you click the like button, because that really helps spreads this channel out to more viewers and more subscribers. The ones that haven't clicked that button, make sure you click the subscribe button and notification bell below. And it is a lot of stuff coming, whether we're talking about Bears preview, reaction, power rankings, and I think just storylines that go throughout the season. And then you're going to have some wrestling content. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do that, but I'll give a full update later once things are kind of been sorted out. But I am APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great and excellent day, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bear down. Peace.